Okay, so I just bought this 2023 Coleman B200R Mini Bike. I found this on Facebook Marketplace for a really good deal. The guy had only ridden it a couple handfuls of it, and it was in good condition. You might be able to see I already got it dirty a little bit, but it's a really fun bike. There's a couple things I want to do to it. I'll kind of go over the whole bike and then show it, and then we gotta get some riding in. So this has a 196cc Coleman engine, very similar to the Predator engines. So you can do a lot of different modifications to these engines, which is really handy. I will be doing some of those in the future. It has rear hydraulic disc brakes, which is really nice, so I'll check those today. Make sure everything's bled out good. It has a twist throttle, which is just cable driven all the way to the engine. And then on the other side, it's just chain driven with a centrifugal clutch. And I'll open that up now so you can see that a little better. Okay, so underneath the cover is where all the magic happens. It has a centrifugal clutch, so there's little weights that are in the inside, and when this spins very fast, the weights come and hit the outer guard, which then sends the power all the way to the wheel. There's a little spring tensioner for the chain here, and then a secondary jack shaft just to lowering the gearing and get a little bit more torque out of the engine. Alrighty, in the front we have the two front suspension shocks, and it has a little light. One of the things I'd like to do today is put a better light on. It's a small halogen bulb. Can't really see it in there. It's very dim. It gets a little brighter when the engine hits a higher RPM, but I don't want to rely if I'm going slow speeds. It's pretty dim and almost not usable. So I'm going to put an LED one that I got a little while ago. And then on the handlebars, we have the brake and then the light switch, as well as on the right hand, we just have the kill switch with the throttle. The first thing I want to do to this is get a new light for it. I like the way this light looks, and you could order an LED light on Amazon, but they're like 10 bucks, and I'm gonna try to use the stuff that I have on hand. So I have this light that I got, and it was just sitting on my go-kart. I didn't need it on there anymore, so I'm gonna mount it. I have this little mounting bracket, and I'm gonna put it on the fork holders, or not the handlebar holders that are on the forks, and it's just gonna sit something like that, and then we can adjust it and go from there. Okay, so I'm gonna take my mounting bracket and put it right in these two bolts so that it kind of sits just like that. So we need to take these top two bolts off. Alrighty, and I'm just gonna set my mounting bracket on and then torque those back down. Okay, and then I have a little bolt for here. I'm just gonna attach it right in there. I'll tighten it up, and then we can start working on the wiring. Okay, so I got this light mounted up. I think that's where I like it. And now we just have the wire coming out. I'm gonna run that down into this little box here, and let's get the wires all connected up. Okay, so this is a little plastic cover plate where the old light was connected. There's just a couple little snaps. So if you take a screwdriver and just pop them out, they pop right out. You can see there, 3 little snaps with little rubber bushings. And then inside we have all our wiring. I'm just gonna trace back from the old light, which is this one here. And there's a little connector. So I'm just gonna unplug that. And I don't really wanna cut any of these wires because I might wanna use this later. So I'm just gonna tuck this away. But now I'm gonna run my other wire and put the same connector on so that I can just plug it right into the old connector. Okay, so I have this little connector that I found and just crimped it on. It's the same as the old one, so I can just plug that right in to the old little socket. Pull it out of here. It's just a little rubber piece that keeps everything nice. So I can plug that in, just like that. Alrighty, now I'm just gonna tuck these wires away and put the cover back on, and then we can try it out. Alrighty, so everything should be set. Let's turn it on and try it out. Awesome, I like how that works. So when it gets dark out, I'll have to try it out. It does get brighter when the engine revs up a little more. So it's much better than it was the old one, and I like that I still get to keep that old one on there. I kind of like the way that it looks. Okay, with a little bit of editing magic, it is now dark, and I've got the bike here, and I'm gonna turn it on and give you a comparison between the old and new headlight. And now for the new one. Okay, the last thing for this video is this little throttle cable. On these engines, they're very long and you don't even have to use them. And you can see when I'm pressing the throttle, it sticks out a good bit. And I don't like that because when you're just sitting, your leg gets pretty close. And I've had times where I've had big boots on and it has rubbed against my boot, and when I let off the throttle, it didn't let go because this was stuck on my boot. So I have another engine. This is an older Predator. I'm going to take this one off and just switch them because I don't need this anymore. And that way I won't get, or it won't bump. So let's take this off. I'm going to take the air box off, then a couple screws off, the throttle cable and whatnot, and we'll get it all situated. First, we're going to take these two 10mm bolts off for the air box. Just loosen these up. Then you're going to have to slide both of these over a little like this. Just kind of wiggle it off. Alrighty, and that kind of gives us our mechanism, this whole part here. So we're gonna have to undo throttle cable part, and then this bolt here, as well as the little spring. Get that screw off. Okay, now before I take this little spring off, which can be a pain, I'm gonna go over to the other engine and essentially do the same thing I did here and make sure that everything works and that it's compatible. Okay, so I got that off. Now I'm just gonna check, and you can see it's just a little bit shorter, and hopefully that will be enough. I'd like it to be shorter, but I can always chop a little bit off with the angle grinder or whatever. But I think that should fit, so let me try to figure out how to get this little spring off, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I got this new little throttle linkage back together. I think it works good. I'm trying it with the hand throttle. Feels good. I think it's working great. Hopefully it will be a good upgrade. And now it's time to put the airbox back on. I'll make sure everything's tightened accordingly, and then we'll take it for another test drive. Okay, let's start it up and make sure the throttle linkage works. I like that a lot. It's much better, and you can see there's only just a little bit sticking out. I don't know why Coleman decided to put that type of throttle linkage on their engines, but I like it the way I have it now. Okay, I think I'm gonna end this video here. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I really like this. This is gonna be a really fun bike, and I'll probably keep doing little upgrades to it, so I might post a couple more things about that. But let's go find something else to do.